And I love leaning into those things that bring us life because I want to live in the fullness of every area of my life. And I know that when I'm fueled properly, when my body's in alignment, then I'm like operating at the top of my game.
What's up, truth seekers? You're listening to Damaged to Dangerous, where I bring my passion for pulling back the veil on a quote, pill for every pain, calling out what's broken in the medical industry, and exposing the lies about our food system. Let's walk in real healing to help those misdiagnosed, over medicated, and spiritually stuck get their lives back, body, mind, and spirit. Food is medicine. You're not broken. You've just been lied to. It's time to wake up, get free, and become dangerously whole. So let's go.
Oh my gosh, it's such a great day to have a great day. And I am so honored and blessed to have Kylie Jean Tannehill with me again because we could talk forever about God and his goodness and food and its healing
We
or
have a
just
good time.
yeah, we do. So Kylie is a Nashville native, right? Or are you a Nashville native?
Oh, I moved there my senior year of high school, so I've been there a really, really long time. It feels like home for sure.
Yeah, but you're now residing in Texas.
I'm in
And
Texas, but I'm back in Nashville in the fall, so just a little
okay,
splash.
I
Yeah.
didn't know if that was something that could be shared or not. But for people who do not know this beautiful woman, she's a media personality and a producer, host of the Kylie Jean Show, where she explores faith, culture, and calling, which we're going to hit that today.
All good things.
Yeah, right. She's worked behind the scenes on projects like Am I Racist
Mhm.
and Convicting, and has appeared on outlets including Fox News, Newsmax, Daily Wire, and her work aims to help people live with clarity, connection, and hope.
You
So,
nailed
Kyle,
it.
welcome. Yeah,
Thank you so much.
yeah, absolutely. So before we started recording, um, I was talking to her a little bit. I was sitting in uh, a meeting one time, and the guy sitting next to me said I used to drink every night and go to a pit in hell called Oblivion.
Hmm.
And I'm going, huh? I had that same background, but I said I was in a room next to yours called the Isolation and Suicide.
Hmm.
I passed through Oblivion, and the
Hmm.
only place next was really death. And I looked up, you know, different resources on being oblivious, you
Hmm.
know. And what came to my mind was I don't want to see, I don't want to hear, I don't want to know, I don't want to feel, which
Hmm.
is the nature of addiction. And even when we're talking about addiction, it's not always drugs and alcohol. It
Hmm.
can be sex, it can be codependency, it can
Hmm.
be food, it can
Hmm.
be, a lot of things. And but we don't always recognize all the faces of addiction,
Hmm.
to put it mildly. And as we were talking earlier, a lot of people don't even want to recognize the faces of addiction. I heard a good definition the other day, like when it was gathered around food. A healthy hunger is biological, but a
Hmm.
craving is psychological.
Hmm.
And, cravings, I could be totally full and still crave. I always pick on Cheetos because I don't want to. It's manufactured food, processed
Yeah.
food. If it came in a bag, box, or had a barcode, I would
Hmm.
still crave it. In fact, sugar was my first addiction when I was in like seventh or eighth grade,
Hmm.
and because that was legal.
Hmm.
In fact, I could get high at church,
Hmm.
and I've learned sugar's 15 times more addictive than cocaine. Well, let's be conservative. I've seen the numbers 8 times more addictive than cocaine, but
Yeah, it's like
that's
terrible on the
not bad
brain.
enough. Yeah, right.
The brain, the skin, there's nothing. It satisfies an emotional moment, but then you feel absolutely terrible afterwards, and then it creates this cycle. And same with like processed foods. Like processed foods is one of the sugar from like natural sugars from the Lord is a gift to our body. It's very healing. If you go to like berries, dates, raw honey, like those things, they bring a lot of nutritional value and healing to our body. But anytime that we start to go to the manufactured sugar, that's when we find it to be the source of very real problems. Like it's the really the massive indicator for the road to Alzheimer's and a lot of other disease that cultivates in our body. And modern medicine hasn't been trained in the nutritional aspect of how that implicates our bodies. And then when we talk about like a lot of like traditional church settings and spiritual settings like that, there's been traditionally like a big disconnect in the two, which we would love. We were talking about this earlier, like love to have people find freedom in that because we were created to live in the fullness of our spirit, of our soul, and of our body. And our body really carries us on our assignment while we're on earth. And so a lot of people are living tormented and they'll slap it as, spiritual warfare, which not to negate that there is a very big reality of that, but there is a very huge truth of making sure that your body is in alignment, that your hormones are in alignment. There's a lot of factors that are against us. We're living in cities. We're not getting the sunlight that we need. We're not getting the physical, just normal movement that we're needing. And then we're not fueling our body with the things that is going to provide longevity. So there's a lot of factors here. And it takes the desire to learn nowadays, to be able to like make that your normal. And it's easy. Once you kind of get it, it's easy.
Yeah, like even want to admit,
Uh-huh.
I know that, the first step for me to make any change was first I need help. I
Yeah.
I I I I can't do this anymore. It ain't working,
Yeah.
you know. It ain't working. Hello.
Yeah.
And then, I tell people I'm not alive and well today because I'm full of brilliant wisdom. It was pain that brought me to my knees.
Yeah.
And I was angry. I was broken. I didn't know how to get healing. I knew, you know, a lot of religious stuff, but I didn't know the lover of my soul, where the
Yeah.
real healing comes from.
Yeah.
And at the same time, if you love me, you obey me. And at the same time, it is written,
Yeah.
you know, about what to eat and not to eat. And sugar wasn't ever mentioned in the Bible because it wasn't even made in the form that we know it today
Right.
until 600 AD.
Right.
And then it was a weapon of
Hmm.
war. They would feed it to their enemies. And just kind of like our Vietnam guys were fed opiates or whatever they
Yeah.
were, and until it was just a matter of time.
Oh, yeah. Sugar
Yeah.
and seed oils, I think, have been really used to make the American population extremely sick. And most people don't understand it. And so I had to really like educate myself because I was diagnosed with celiac 10 years ago, which for those who don't know celiac disease, it's like there's gluten allergies and then there's like an extreme autoimmune aspect of it. And so I was diagnosed before gluten-free was really trendy, and I really had to educate myself because it was a complete like lifestyle shift for me. And I'm very grateful for what I've learned going down that road. But you also, like what you were mentioning, I think we all have these moments when we're little kids that we don't know how to emotionally cope sometimes. And that's a window where we can go to food for comfort, or we can go to like sugar or
I mean,
something like that,
comfort food.
comfort food. And then that creates habits because your body then develops a wiring and your emotions develop a pattern that follow whatever that habit has created through to adulthood. And it is like it takes a very like conscious decision to realize what I've been doing in the past isn't working for me. It's causing like very real physical implications. And the Holy Spirit is there to help us. He will bring us the right help. It says in scripture verse that wise counsel is a good thing to seek out. So sometimes it is by getting somebody else to help us through that. I worked with a nutritionist. I worked in the entertainment industry since I was 15 years old, and because of that, I was very body conscious. My body changed really early in life. And so I was just a little bit more like subconscious. And then I was in the Christian industry. So they were like, it was just like everything was different. You had to like dress a certain way, but then your body looks a certain way. And so I was conscious of this stuff like very early in life. My family made some big moves very quickly. And so I didn't have that outlet of comfort in everything that was in my world that was my normal like comfort, my horse, like all these things, it had been taken away. And so went to like eating. Like I was pretty much like binge eating and binge eating sugar. Um, and it wasn't until like really getting diagnosed with celiac that I was like, I have got to get my health in massive order because I was only ever taught calories in, calories out, and clearly that's not working.
Right.
And it's much more multidimensional than that. And I received so much healing because I found a nutritionist. I found a gal that specialized in gut health, Elizabeth Ayr, like changed my life. And I prayed. I asked the Lord, I was like, I need answers. And he literally like led me to this gal's Instagram page, and she transformed my life. I worked with her for 3 years. My body has like just gotten, it looks the best it's ever looked. It's functioned the best it's ever functioned. And it's all because she focused on helping me heal my gut and completely renew my mind and transform my eating patterns. So it takes a willing vessel in any moment in life, whether you're building a career, you're working on your family, whatever it might be, it's that internal decision that you are so dissatisfied with the way your life looks, you want it to change. So then you start pursuing, what does change look like? What's the right people to help me along the path? And that's where I was with my health. And now, like, I find so much joy in being healthy. Like, I love feeling good in my own skin. I love shopping. I love being able to have the energy that I need for my on the go lifestyle. I like feeling like confident when I'm at the beach. Like there's all these good things that overflow when you feel really good, when your gut is working really well, when you're getting the right amount of sleep, when your hormones are balanced.
Right.
It's the game changer, and it's the way we were always
Right.
created to live. So it's a good conversation to have, but I definitely think sugar and seed oils are a huge weaponized
Problem.
thing in our food these days.
Right. And they cause inflammation. And I know that inflammation of the brain
Yeah.
equals depression.
Yeah.
So I went with some friends to Florida for we got an Airbnb and they drove and stopped and got some fudge at this great big truck stop, which I won't name.
Oh, I
And
know exactly what you're talking about.
I'm like, no, I don't eat that stuff. You
Yeah.
know, God took me off of sugar as soon as I got back in the church 15 years ago. I
Yeah.
didn't ask why, I didn't care. I knew it was, come on, I knew it wasn't great for you. You know, we
Yeah.
called it junk food,
Yep.
you know, and today it's everyday food. It's crazy. But anyway, I just quit. And when I was down in this Airbnb, no, I don't eat that. I don't eat fudge. I don't eat this stuff that, come on, just one bite. I've heard that before. I think it was in Genesis. Pretty soon after about 4 days, I'm like, oh, I'll just have one bite. It won't hurt me, said Satan, you know. So I did. It was so good. Are you kidding me? I'm knocking women out of the way like an NFL football player to get more. Because I have to have more because there's never enough.
I can never do one bite. It's like the whole box.
No,
So it's just
no,
not worth it for me.
no. I
I'm like,
know
I
it
would rather,
triggers me.
yes, it's not worth it. Yeah.
No, just one. Oh, shut up. You know. And so I did, and then like 2 or 3 days later, one of my friends said something flippant to me
Mhm.
that, we would banter and tease and razz, but all of a sudden it hurt my feelings. You
Uh-huh.
know, when I came home and I journaled for 3 days, people could be so mean. After I detoxed 3 days later, I'm like, I cannot believe that even bothered me at all.
Okay, sugar messes with your emotions
Oh,
so much, and people
I
don't
know.
realize that. Yes. I know, like, it totally, my mom used to say, so when I was a really little girl, my mom, I don't know why. I think there was like a kid in my class that was allergic to something in kindergarten, and I wanted to be allergic to something. So I'd ask my mom, my mom's like, well, you're like allergic to sugar. I don't know. She just like
Oh,
threw it out there. So I didn't touch sugar. Like, if I was at a friend's birthday party and they had cake, like, I just didn't touch it. And my mom said she just noticed how much even my emotions were. And then as an adult, like, I can tell when my nutrition is off, I'm way more emotionally sensitive in ways that doesn't really make sense like that. And that's also something that people don't really talk about. I think that's why I have developed a love for eating really clean. And it's so easy on either side of the pendulum for people to make idols out of food, whether it be like junk food and comfort or like, the extreme health community. There's balance. Like the Lord's created us to live in balance. It's not supposed to dominate our brain space because there's no right and wrong. Everybody's body is created so different, and there's just things that bring us life. And I love leaning into those things that bring us life because I want to live in the fullness of every area of my life. And I know that when I'm fueled properly, when my body's in alignment, then I'm like operating at the top of my game. I have a friend who started like doing videos on his social media of he had a big sweet tooth and he does like dates with butter in them. And it's like that kind of stuff. Like you can figure all these like different alternatives and they taste
right.
amazing. You feel phenomenal. It's like the way that God created us to operate, and there's so many good things. So to every compromise, the Lord has a righteous right, and He's the
Right.
source. He'll lead you to it.
And it doesn't have consequences,
No, you feel
right?
phenomenal. You figure out your gut health, you're mobilized. It's great. I'm like excited to raise kids with like good nutritional habits.
Right.
I'm like genuinely like looking forward to that season of my life.
I heard you. You're alive, you're vibrant.
Uh,
I don't want to just survive. I want to
no.
thrive. I know, we get excited. This
Yeah.
is all about destiny.
Hmm.
And Satan wants to steal our destiny, our purpose. When we can't get out of bed because of whatever disease,
Hmm.
in fact, that reminds me, I think it's Proverbs 5 and or Proverbs 7 in the Passion Translation.
Yeah.
I read it, and it talks about the strange woman.
Yeah.
She'll lead you down a path to hell. You
Yeah.
won't even know what hits you. And at the end of your life, I'm paraphrasing and getting a
Yeah.
chapter in 2 seconds. You'll be eaten up with disease and say, "Why did I not listen to wisdom?"
Hmm.
Now the congregation are my witnesses, and I'm like, who's my strange woman? Is
Hmm.
it cupcakes?
Hmm.
Is it French fries? Is it fast food? Does it come in a bag with a barcode?
Right.
No, because I'm not going to run off with hooker today, right?
Yeah.
So, so, but is it malt balls? What is it?
Yeah,
What
I
is
think that's like the encouraging thing for anybody watching is that there's so much hope. Like nobody's ever too far in. Your health isn't too far gone. Like
right?
there's always healing available and there's always the opportunity to relearn and rewire our habits. And I was bedridden for a season, like literally like only two functioning hours a day. And like I was praying, my family was praying, and the right help, like we were just like only God intersected with the right help in different moments that I needed different types of help. And that's just what I would like love to encourage people with is it's that point of recognizing, okay, well, what's that thing that's holding me back in areas that I'm created to have way more freedom in? How is that affecting my physical body? Are you lacking in sleep? Are you feeling lethargic all the time? Are you bloated and you can't figure out why you're so bloated? Is there inflammation so you're not able to lose the weight that you're wanting to lose? You can follow the fruit of something and lead it down to the root, and then that is where the healing is available. So I think that that is the good part. It's recognizing what are those things that are holding us back, that like it's talking about in the Proverbs. And then from there, that's where you create the roadmap of healing. That's where you can start looking for somebody who might be further along the road to help you with your journey of healing. And he always will provide the answer. Like the Lord is so good. he will always provide you with an answer. And it can be very overwhelming when you're looking at your body and you're looking at health. And that's the very place that he wants to bring the most amount of healing because your life was created with such good purpose and
Right.
you're created to live in the fullness of that purpose. So that
And
would be
joy.
like my big heart for people is there is hope. Nobody's too far gone.
Right. I read an article 2 or so years ago talking about the dopamine cartels.
Yeah.
Well, I was very familiar in my past with drug cartels.
Yeah.
And but it talks about the dopamine hits that come from, you know, processed food. They make
Yeah.
them addictive. The city of San Francisco is suing, I think, like 9 companies, like Nestle and I don't know all of them because they are realizing that people are addicted to food and it's making their health care costs
Yeah.
go through the roof. I mean, it's been
Yeah.
on the news. So, and I'm thinking, here's the most liberal city that
Yeah.
I'm aware of, and they're blowing the whistle. I would love to see the church be the answer
Mhm.
and be the Daniels in the court when Nebuchadnezzar looked on Daniel and his buddies, he said they are healthier and wiser than all the sorcerers of our court. And
Yeah.
today, they don't see that.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. We're to be the answer. I want them to want what we have,
Mhm.
which is not, 5 chronic diseases and another doctor appointment.
Yeah.
For another pill that will have another side effect that will require another appointment that will require another pill that will have another side effect. And I'm not anti-doctor, I'm not anti-meds for a season. I'm anti-chemical dependency, and most of the foods we eat are chemicals.
Totally. Totally.
So when I read that glass of milk has over 100 hormones in it,
Isn't that crazy?
yeah.
I know.
And I had a woman, her son she called me, she's freaking out because her son needs to have his breasts removed, but he didn't have implants.
Yeah,
It's
there's so
just
much
hormone.
estrogen,
Yeah,
hormones. Yeah, that's why most of our kids are like in adolescent, like their adolescence is being jump started much earlier in life now than it has been in the past. And it's pretty crazy, but I think the Lord's doing a lot where he's revealing a lot that's even outside of the four walls of the church. And because it hasn't been the answer. And I mean, I've seen it. I've like traveled around and you'll have people who will come up and pray for healing and diabetes and genuinely like they really, really want their life to be healed and they just are unaware of avenues that can help. And then the church's catering afterwards is all foods that is only going to feed to tearing down our body, like biscuits, the sugar, all of that. So there is great help. I don't know where the church is on that. I'm like such a huge believer that right now the Lord's doing such a new thing that so much of it is outside of the four walls and it's
right.
allowing people to like seek him and see where he is like so present in these areas. And health is a big one. And health, we're doing a lot of really good things. Like this is the most aware in a long time, I feel like people have been. There's so many great resources out there. And it's just a re-education. It's a complete re-education. And you just have to be willing to dive into that.
Yes, and I don't want anybody to hear a condemnation message. The bridge is out ahead.
Yeah,
Please
there's great
don't go
things.
that way. There's a
Yeah.
better way to go. If you keep this way, there's pain at the end of that road. So please
The
don't go.
brain
Please
is the
don't.
most like it's the most over medicated organ in the Western world and it's the least evaluated. And so
Yeah.
those are the kind of things when people start understanding like, okay, our brain genuinely is an organ that needs a lot of healing. Like you had talked about inflammation of the brain. Nutrition largely plays into that. And then there is a lot of other phenomenal alternatives that can bring like healing to the mind and renewing of the mind that aren't reliant on, a medication. So a lot of it is just it's like that willingness to do full lifestyle reevaluations. And there's people who are willing and there's people who aren't. And that's where I think free will it comes into play. And the Lord always honors that.
Right, it does. He does. Um, I've been grateful I get to speak on this, and I'm often blown away how receptive people are once they hear the whole message.
Yeah.
Once I was in pain, and today I'm not.
Yeah.
Once I was significantly overweight. It was inflammation. I didn't realize I was set up by big
Yeah.
food to not be able to eat just one,
Yep.
right? I didn't realize. I think it was a Dr. Oz show I saw 20 plus years ago where they said some of the fats in fast food is addictive. And
Mm.
the same people come in to get that food 3 and 4 times a day.
Yeah.
And it's painful when I see children suffering because I think Dr. Mercola's written an article I've got. He's controversial, but he's got the science. 1 in 3 children today have a chronic disease that will
Yeah.
last with them through their lives. And it used to be just old people that got these diseases, and now it's children. And it's
Right.
so sad. And they
It's
put them
really
on
sad.
medication for behavioral disorders
Mhm.
when, yeah, behavior disorders.
Right. A
It's a
lot of that
drug.
too. Yeah. A lot goes into the nutrition while their mom was pregnant too. Like there's just so much that's
Yeah.
hardwires like what kids are, what they crave and what they lean towards. And it's really fascinating. It's a whole multidimensional web.
It really is. I've read about that too. I mean, my mother was pregnant. My dad was a smoker.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I've learned that the baby
Yeah.
it starts craving it.
Yeah. It really
And
does.
as like a 15-year-old, I remember trying a cigarette and thinking this is horrible.
Yeah.
So I smoked for 30 years.
Wow.
I read an article the other day. It said that what parents, both of them,
Hmm.
eat before they get pregnant will determine the health of their child up until they're 60, 70 years old,
Yeah. Oh,
whether
yeah.
they'll get certain diseases or not. And people are just not aware.
Yeah, the health of the husband 9 months before conception actually plays into the health of the wife's pregnancy. It's really fascinating when you dig into all of it. Like our God just like made our body so cohesive, and when he says like the two become one, it genuinely plays into every like facet of what oneness like looks like, what health looks like. And it's really cool. Like it's really cool when you start
It
digging into
is.
it and you realize like how the intentionality and the simplicity in a lot of it. Like it's making life a lot more simple in some ways, health, because we've like overcomplicated it in society. But yeah, it's really fascinating when you realize you can steward a lot of health for you and your family. And it gets exciting. Like when you get as the woman, I would feel like, okay, this is like actually like a really exciting position to be in like cultivating the household and what that looks like. And you just have to have a willing heart to be able to be open to see what does new things look like? What is simplicity? What is changing habits? It just starts with openness, curiosity, and the willingness to leave what hasn't worked. And you will find the answer. The Lord will bring it to you.
Right, right. I remember being in an airport and I was hungry. The only thing I could find that looked healthy was a trail mix with some cranberries and nuts. And
Yeah.
so I start munching on them, and little bit of that goes a long way. And then finally, start boarding the plane, and I start feeling physical withdrawal symptoms.
Hmm.
Now, I've withdrawn from drugs and alcohol and all kinds of stuff over my lifetime, and it's painful.
Hmm.
It's painful. It's a little torture. And
Hmm.
and I got out the bag of trail mix, and they put added sugar in there.
Hmm.
and I could feel the withdrawals. And I spend a lot of time in airports sometimes, and
Mhm.
I see parents with their young children, and the parents are tormented by their kids who are
Mhm.
tormented by their withdrawals or cravings or food dyes or
Mhm.
added sugars or whatever added flavorings and stuff that is just not meant to be consumed by humans. Never was, never will be. And their kids are all over the place. And that is definitely not enjoying your children.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for the children.
Yeah,
And so, what's the antidote? They go buy their kid, a
right,
cinnamon roll
right,
to settle them down.
right.
And I'm like, so I go over and talk to parents.
Yeah.
I do. It's like,
Yeah, that's good. They just don't know. A lot of people really just have no idea.
yeah, when you're miserable enough, you're more willing to listen. That's what, unfortunately, I want to prefer to learn through wisdom today. But if
Yeah,
it takes pain,
sometimes it does.
yeah, it does. I
It's
mean,
crazy too how fast, like I was just thinking, like I can tell in my face when I've had man-made sugar versus like when I haven't. Your entire like literal like physicality changes. And I was listening to this doctor and he said the number one like anti-aging thing he can recommend is like not consuming sugar because sugar will wreak havoc on your face. It'll like hold inflammation and cause like everything to start falling forward. And I watched this video of this 85-year-old woman. She was beautiful, grew up on a cattle ranch, and all she ate was she did like basically a carnivore diet for her whole life. And she
oh,
looked
well,
phenomenal. Her muscle tone, her like hair, her skin. I was like, oh my gosh, this is goals. So it's great when you can see even like people who they've lived it and like they're full of life. They're full, like you can see it in their eyes and their body. And it also helps just to paint vision for your own life. And so there's so much good. Like we were created to have energy. We were created to live in the fullness. And that all comes, a lot of it comes down to how we're fueling ourselves and what our habits look like. And the
right.
environment, it's tough. Dallas, like I'm in the city right now, and it's a totally different lifestyle than when I get to be like out in nature more, which I love. I'm an outside girl. I hate being inside. And so being in a
Even,
city is tough. So I think you have a lot of these people that they're just like cities are expanding. It's a totally different lifestyle and it takes a lot more intentionality to like you have to get out and you have to like reconnect with the earth and your nutrition and like all that stuff. Like it plays into the way that your body is operating.
sure, sure. I mean, even I was living in Franklin, and
Hmm.
I had a town home, but I remembered my grandfather's tomatoes when I was
Yeah.
growing up, and I wanted a tomato, one that
Yeah.
had like insane flavor. And
Uh-huh.
so I got all these containers, and I had like a 3 by 8 foot strip of dirt, and I started growing tomatoes, and then I thought, well, I'll do cantaloupes. But
Yeah.
during COVID, when they shut everything down, I was living in downtown Nashville,
Yeah.
and the shelves were bare.
Yeah.
And my neighbors started growing stuff,
Yeah.
and so I thought, well, guess I better do that. And,
Yeah.
and a friend of mine made a documentary about um, the inner cities of where he grew up, and he
Mhm.
interviewed a guy coming out of a convenience store. He goes, "Why do you eat this stuff, man? This is
Yeah.
garbage." He goes, "Well, all the rich people, they can afford the good food." And he said, "You can afford seeds."
Hmm.
And so I took that to heart, and I got a little egg carton, filled it with little dirt, and stuck it in my
Yeah.
windowsill. I got grow lights, a little, and started growing stuff in my home, and then took it outside when it got warm enough. And I have more tomatoes than I know what to do with today, but I gave some to like a spiritual son of mine that was 28, just a little cherry tomato, and he puts it in his mouth and he goes, "Wow, what was that?" And I'm like, real food.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
that's
great.
good.
That is.
Taste and see that the Lord is good.
Yes,
And
yes,
better
exactly.
than anything a factory can come up with.
100%.
So
100%.
anyway, um, yeah, it takes a little rethinking. It's not part of our culture, but we can change culture.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It only takes one to step out and many will follow.
Right, right. So anyway, so what is your everyday breakfast look like? Or do you intermittent fast? I mean, I asked a woman who lived next door to me once, I said, how'd you lose so much weight? And she said, not eating after 6:30 at night. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
oh, baloney, you know. And then I said, how'd you lose so much weight? To another friend, oh, tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. I'm like, oh, stop it, And then I asked another person, how'd you lose so much weight? Well, I've increased fiber significantly. And I'm like, oh, these people, why don't they just tell me the truth? Well,
Everyone's
that
so
is true.
different. Yeah,
Well, and we're on the circadian rhythm.
totally. I travel like I'm always traveling. So, for me, I actually found this gal, Elizabeth Eyre, who she's like a gut hormone specialist for women. And I was at the point where I just felt like so awful that I was like, nothing has worked. I've tried like crash dieting so much in the past and like it would work for seasons. I was on like Phetramine when I was doing music, like to try to keep my appetite down, my energy up. Um and so I was like, man, I really feel like I've just like jacked my body up and I need help. I need to relearn my habits because at that point, like food had become an enemy to me. So I started working with this gal and she was awesome. She like no pressure off. She's like everybody's bodies are so different. We're going
Right.
to heal your gut, so that's what we're going to focus on. And so really what healed my gut was um it was just very balanced. So I really focus on having a protein, like a very, very clean protein, a really clean carb, and a good fat. So that's my like secret to success as long as I have that combination. And when I feel like it kind of my sweet tooth, I used to have a really big sweet tooth and
You're right.
I don't really have it anymore, but when I do, like I've figured out and I listen to my body. Like I don't have any wrong or right way of doing it, especially when as women, I think our cycles like play largely into what our body needs at different times in the month. And so I just allowed myself like the healing of taking the pressure off that things have to be a certain way. So for me, like a breakfast or something would be like I love making egg sandwiches. That's just like what I love. So I have a really good like healthy gluten-free sourdough bread that's got very clean ingredients. I like to make my eggs a certain way. I'm a big sauce person, so I have these really clean like spicy sauces. So or if I want it like savory, I'll do like a jam and manuka honey. I love manuka honey. Um, and I create these sandwiches. So like that's pretty much like my go-to if I'm able to cook. Like that's what I do for breakfast. Sometimes I'll do a Coco June like yogurt with I use a really really good like I'm not a protein powder person just because I don't like man-made things, but I do love Taylor Duke Wellness has a protein powder that's very clean and it's the only protein powder that like doesn't back me up. It doesn't hurt my stomach and it doesn't cause me to hold inflammation. So if I do a protein powder, I'll usually use hers. Um, and I just do breakfast, lunch, and dinner pretty much. Like I don't snack in between. That doesn't really help me. But if I need a snack, like I have like a really clean like beef sticks I'll grab. I always try to do protein and a fat. Like that's pretty much my combo. It's like protein and a fat. If I need sweets, I grab frozen berries. I love frozen berries.
Oh, aren't they
They're
amazing?
amazing. I'll like
Oh,
throw them in my yogurt. I love frozen berries. I love dates. So I'm pretty like I've just figured out what's worked for my body, and my body works best on simplicity. I just noticed that
right.
if I try to overcomplicate it, like I'm also not a foodie, so the way that a lot of people get like enjoyment out of a magnificent meal, like it doesn't really hit home for me like that. So
Right.
I'm pretty simple. I love a good ribeye steak. Like
I'm
I'm pretty
licking my lips. Like,
Yes, I'm a big
yeah.
like I'm a
Oh
big
no.
steak person. I eat a
Yeah.
lot of steak. But I do agree, like I don't do well if I eat late at night. So I just try like I really don't eat after my dinner time. I don't snack. I travel a lot. Like I travel a lot. And so I just kind of have figured out to bring what I need to bring on the road with me and adapt. And I take my herbs and I do like an herb tea in the morning, every morning that kickstarts my day. And you just kind of figure out your flow. I get movement in every day. It's crazy. I used to train so hard. Like I wanted to train like a D1 athlete. I thought that's what you had to do. And it pumped my cortisol and I got thicker. Like
Yeah.
in my build, like it's very easy for me to get really sturdy. Like you could punch my thigh and your wrist might break, but it was
Oh,
drugs. And that just, I didn't feel good. I felt like miserable. I was exhausted. The shape of my body wasn't like, it didn't make me feel feminine. And as soon as I started, again, Elizabeth helped me with this, but I really prioritize just simple movements. Like I make sure that I get in, I normally get about 12,000 to 15,000 steps a day. I love walking.
I do too.
So I love walking. I get my sunshine in, I get my
Yeah.
coffee in, and I like that's my prayer time. So I do a ton of
Right.
walking. I love lifting, but I don't stress myself out over it. So I
Oh,
might lift like 2 to 3 times a week, and I lift light. I'm a big fan of lifting heavy for women. I think that's a great concept. For me, where my body's at, I just have to like do higher amount of reps and a lighter amount of weights, but everybody's different and you kind of figure out like different seasons. So I've figured out what works for me. I'm very active as a person. I ride horses all the time. I longboard a lot. So I just took myself off of the need of having a specific like workout agenda or routine and I just made lifestyle. And I was like, what works for making a lifestyle? So that's just me. That's like what works for me. And my brother is like a high rocks guy and he like trains, he's like crushing it, does all that. I think that's amazing. That's just like not for me. So you
no.
kind of figure out like what works for you, your personality and your lifestyle.
Well, that's interesting because I know that insulin is our friend until it's
Mhm.
not.
Right.
And my dad suffered and died due
I'm so
to
sorry.
him becoming diabetic. And I didn't know then what I know now. He was religious about what he ate. My dad was a health nut.
Yeah.
But he didn't know about seed oils. He didn't know
Yeah.
about GMOs. And he did not know, well, he's 93 when he died last year,
Yeah.
or
Oh,
almost a month short,
yeah.
and so he just didn't know. But that sweeteners,
Yeah.
you know,
So
the
much
new one would
chemical.
come out. They're good for you. This one's good for you, said Hell.
I
You
even
know,
stay away now from
oh,
stevia because I read how stevia is actually used as a contraceptive in other countries. And so I'm like, oh, and we just like think that that kind of stuff's healthy for us. And you don't know until you know, right? So
wow.
it's crazy. And in our like when you start stepping back in everything that's connected, like there's so many fertility issues that's happening in women in my
Yes,
generation. Like there's so many things and it's all connected. It's like connected to what we put in our body. It's connected to these big entities that are wanting lifelong customers for so many reasons. So you really do kind of, I say it's easy once you learn it because it just becomes like part of your awareness. But I could see how it can be overwhelming when you're first learning, but seed oils are gnarly. So I feel like my parents' generation and up have had a hard time with the revelation of seed oils because it's a
it didn't
totally
exist.
different, it didn't exist. It wasn't around until like the 70s. And it is such a weapon. It causes so much chronic inflammation in your body. That's like
Horrible.
such a contributor to skin cancer. And then you start
Yes,
adding, this is where it's like people want lifelong customers. Then you have like, okay, well, I'm going to put the sunscreen on, but the sunscreen's got the chemicals and it works in
that
conjunction with
causes
seed
breast
oils.
cancer.
It's wild. So you really have to go back. Like it's kind of you're a little bit of like a crunchy, like almond granola type person is what I've loved to lean into just in figuring out like what's the most like natural wholeness that like God's created us to be, what adapts to the balance of my personal lifestyle, and how can I do the best that I can do to steward. Nobody's gonna ever be perfect, and You'll
Right.
make it a religion in your life if it'll be an unhealthy idol if you swing to an extreme, but God's made us to live in balance and he will bring you the right answers.
Right. So I hear you. I was taught, I was raised in an era where I was taught fat was bad
Yeah.
and no fat. Oh my gosh. And then, but the truth is, the more fat I eat with protein, the more balanced my appetite is. And I'm talking about
Yeah.
avocado,
Yeah. I
and it
love
has a lot
avocado.
of, I know,
Yeah.
it's like I got one on the counter waiting for me. And it's high in fiber, which
Yeah.
doesn't seem to be something that would be high in fiber. It's not crunchy. But I love egg with avocado and throw some bean sprouts on top of it or alfalfa broccoli sprouts and
Yeah.
splash it with some balsamic. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I can handle
Yeah.
that. And I also love, doing a protein shake. I travel with it. But mine's got like 5 ingredients from grass fed, grass finished,
Yep.
called Equip, I think
Yeah.
is what
Yep.
it's
No,
called.
Equip's a really good one. They're very, very clean.
Yeah, yeah. So I've learned to add, amino acids because I had a hard time digesting protein at one time.
Hmm.
And amino acids are smaller chains of proteins, and it was better for my absorption.
Yeah.
And it's not what we eat, we're what we absorb. And you brought up gut health.
Yeah.
And you know, I we had I was told I had a chemical imbalance up here.
Hmm.
That's why I suffered from mind bending suicidal depression. When
Yeah.
95% of your serotonin is made in your gut.
Yep. They say the gut's the second brain. Yeah.
Right. What I've learned is in the womb, the gut and the brain are made of the same material.
Hmm.
They look alike.
Yes.
And then there's the vagus nerve that connects the two.
Yeah.
And what I've learned is there's messages going back and forth. But one thing that blew my mind is 80% of the messages come from the gut and to
Yeah.
the brain, and only
Yeah.
20% goes from the brain to the gut.
Yep.
So, trillions of little microbiome with their own genes.
Yeah.
We're their host.
Oh, for sure. And
You
it's
know,
that it's like
what am I going to feed?
totally. And even that, it's like a lot of people don't realize the repair and the healing that needs to happen from years of um
Feed oils,
seed
antibiotics,
oils, all of it, like
cosmetics.
laxatives, like all these things, because people can't get proper bowel movements and all of that
Mhm.
plays into it. It's gut health is going to be like the big root to all the other health issues in your body. I've like come to learn.
Yeah,
And I have so many friends. Like I have a lot of friends that I've recommended to work with the gal that really helped me. And we all have very different health things that we were pursuing to heal. And every single person, it's like the fullness of the personality is back. Like their body is working. You feel so much better. You've got the new habits. And those kind of things are really important. And it's all with the gut. It's crazy.
right, right,
Exciting stuff to figure out.
right, and I've never heard that in my life.
Yeah.
Never heard that
Oh,
in
well, I feel like
any.
you told me about that kids book and I had ordered it. I have it somewhere right
Oh
here about
yeah,
the gut.
the microbiome, the army inside
Yes.
of you.
Yes.
Well, that's not the title, but that's in there. It's all on the microbiome and
Yeah.
how to feed the good. I've got it. I'm
Yes.
giving it
Those
away
kind
and
of
had to
things
buy
are
more.
fun. That's
I
awesome.
know.
Yeah, those are great. Like especially with kids. Like I have nieces and nephews and I love kids and if you can get kids are very intelligent and if you can get them
Yeah,
excited about what works for them, what's like going to make them the strongest for who they are created to be, like they get it. They get it young. And then
right.
if you have a household that's creating that kind of atmosphere of like the fullness of health, then you're really you're setting yourselves up for really good success in a lot of things.
Yeah, I was sitting at a restaurant I frequent. probably too often, Urban Market
Oh, it's
yesterday.
like my living room. I always joke about that. It's
Yeah,
my favorite.
right.
That's where I last saw you, actually.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I was there yesterday.
fun.
And a family with five children under the age of 7
Oh, wow.
walked in.
Yeah.
Four, no, wait, maybe it was 6, 4 boys and 2 girls.
Wow.
And they were so well behaved.
That's awesome.
Everybody was like very peaceful.
Yeah.
I mean, they, when I see children, sometimes they're so spastic. I went over to somebody's house. They needed help.
Yeah.
They needed they thought they needed deliverance in their home. And I walk in and there's 3 kids on the dining room table screaming. The dog is cowering in the corner, and the 3-year-old's at the freezer door that's on the low part of the refrigerator
Yeah.
screaming, trying to get to the sugary treat that's in
Yeah.
there. And I'm like, ma'am, you don't you need help, but you got to get the sugar out of here.
Yeah. Honestly,
No.
that's huge.
I'm like, oh my gosh. She goes, that's impossible. I
I was like,
said,
no, it's very possible.
oh, no. It's entirely possible, but
Yeah.
it's got to start with the addiction from the parents.
100%.
That's where they learned it.
Oh, totally. It's just a lifestyle change. And there's great, like, we used to do frozen grapes when we were little kids. Like, there's stuff you could do that's like really good, like
Frozen blueberries are like crack.
delicious. Yes, I'm like looking forward to eating that today. Yeah, I have it in my freezer. It's those kind of things that there's always a righteous right. My This was something my brother says all the time, and it was like so brilliant. But there's always a righteous right to any counterfeit that the enemy has created, and so you can look at
Right.
that to so many different areas of life, and it also applies to when it comes down to your nutrition and your food. And so any area where there's a counterfeit, which a counterfeit would be like a man-made product, like there is something that was created from the very heart of God when he created the garden and he created us to live in that wholeness and the fullness. Um, so there's good things. I want people to leave with so much hope and so much
Right.
excitement that something that can seem daunting and overwhelming, anything new you try can have that feeling. And then all of a sudden, what once felt overwhelming becomes your new floor, and then you
Right.
just continue to grow from there. So I hope everybody feels encouraged,
Empowered.
empowered, and realizing that you carry a lot more authority on the inside of you, and you have the opportunity and the free will to make the decision of what your life actually looks like, what your household looks like, and so much of the peace actually comes through the nutrition.
Right.
And if you're in a place where you need help, there is no shame in asking for help. I'm a huge fan. It changed my life when I went and got wise counsel in that area of my life, when I got help with my nutrition, when I got help with my physical training. Like, there's nothing wrong with asking for help, and it's going to absolutely transform the way that you once lived. And nobody's too old. Age is nothing. The spirit has no age attached to it, and your bodies are
Right.
incredible. They adapt.
Right. And also, um, you know, the truth is when I came to the end of myself
Hmm.
with drugs and alcohol, and, you know, I had the opportunity to afford myself anything in life, and there was nothing that could take the place of the only love and the only
Yeah.
the doctors told me there was no way.
Yeah.
And Jesus told me he was the way. And
Yep.
that righteousness means right minded. And
Yeah.
the food put me back in my right mind too. It's healing.
Yep.
The fruit is for eating, and the leaves for the healing of the nations. And I met a woman a couple weeks ago who'd been healed of ovarian cancer drinking healing leaves,
Wow.
no chemo,
Yep.
and
I believe it.
I got set free of bipolar 15 years ago, but
Yep.
God changed my diet.
Yep.
And a year ago, when my dad died, I went off the sugar wagon. And God spoke to me shortly after that and said, "Do you want to eat sugar or do you want to live in your destiny?"
Mm,
And the truth is, I want to live in health and prosper
yes.
and not survive, but thrive. And
Yes.
my physical and mental health, my gut health determines my mental health.
Oh, totally.
So if I feel horrible today, I go, okay, what did I eat yesterday?
Yes. It is
And
such a thing. Even with emotions, I always check on that.
yeah, yeah. And what maybe you can eat something that just throws my blood sugar
Totally.
out of the ballpark. And every time my insulin spikes, my whole metabolism shifts.
Yeah.
And I become unstable in my thinking. I did
Yeah.
the carnivore for about 3 weeks in between Thanksgiving and Christmas one year. And I was blown away how little I was manipulated getting
Mm,
up,
yeah.
distracted by I'll go get an apple. I'll go
Yeah.
get a piece of toast. I'll go. No, I wasn't necessarily hungry. I was
Yeah.
being manipulated by my own metabolism,
Yeah.
And so when my blood sugar went like this,
Hmm.
I was writing, I was getting things
Yeah.
done, and I was blown away. And I'm
Yep.
not anti-carnivore or anti-vegan, but I am pro-truth, which the way God told us to eat in the Bible.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's feasts, and sometimes it's fasts, and sometimes it's fat, sometimes it's not. And I think our body's more resilient when we keep it mixed up a little bit. But I'm not going to mix it up with something that comes in a bag or
Oh, for
has a
sure.
barcode on it today. You
I'm
know.
right there with you. I think that's great wisdom.
So anyway, God is good, and that scripture, none of these diseases, if you are diligent to obey all that I've commanded you, then none of these diseases that I put on the Egyptians will I put on you. Well, today we've got toxins in our air, in our water, and we live in a very fallen world. Things happen,
Yeah.
but he's still the answer.
Yeah.
So I just want to do my part, you
Absolutely.
know?
You're crushing it. You're doing your part. You're doing great.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So Jesus said, if you have eyes to see and ears to hear, you must respond.
Yes.
So today I'm responding because every time I respond and do it his way, my life gets so much better.
Yeah, that's true. It's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. I want to thank you for joining me. Your delight as always. And anything else you want to comment on before we go?
Oh, well, thank you for having me. And anybody watching, I just declare over you the fullness of everything that the Lord has for you, from the inside out, from the top of your head to the toes of your feet, that you were created to be here with such an assignment of the life of the Lord over you. And any area where the enemy has tried to come in and he's tried to bring death and destruction, just like it says in John 10:10, where the enemy has come to steal, kill, and destroy, God is bringing life and life abundantly. And I specifically even declare that in your physical body, into your nutrition, into your mind, and being able to absorb any information. If you're in that space where you're looking for answers and you've had a lot of question marks and you're feeling awful, you're feeling sick and you aren't getting the answers, I am in full agreement that the Holy Spirit brings those answers to you today, that your paths cross with the right person at the right time. And I declare life and life abundantly, just out of Jeremiah 29:11 over you. And so I just say that, and I just say that any area that's tried to put a hook on you, we just brush it off right now in Jesus' name. It can't, that you are soaring and all the goodness that He has in your mind, your body, and your spirit. And thank you so much, Lynn, for having me on today. It's just so good being with you.
You
And I'm
too.
excited to see what the future holds.
I'll see you at Urban Market.
Yes, ma'am, you shall.
So I do pray the God of hope
Yes.
fill you with all peace and joy as you put your trust in him. Not only is he the way, but it's a great way to live, full of joy, hope, and peace.
Yes.
So I get to choose today who I want to serve, and I hope you choose wisely because he's good.
He is
So
so good.
yeah, love you, bless you,
Thank you
thank
so
you all.
much. Thank
Yeah,
you.
And how can people connect with you?
Yes, you can go to my website, kyliejean.com, or I'm very active on like Instagram at Kylie Jean Tannehill. And so you can find me on there as well.
All righty. Well, thanks again. We'll see you
Thanks.
next time.
See
Bye.
ya.
Share it, rate it, review it. That's how we crack the system and spread real healing. Want to stay in the fight? Follow me on social media at Lynn Eldridge Official. And if you believe in what we're doing and want to support us, just grab the link below or send this episode to someone who needs the truth. Remember, don't just heal, heal loudly, heal boldly, be dangerous.